episode 180 of Coffee and Co-Read, your source for all things literary with Kristen
and Catherine, where we believe there's nothing better than a hot coffee and an awesome book. Join us for our virtual book club where we take one book a month and dive into all of the drama, adventure, and romance we can find. Hey, Kristen.
Hi, Catherine.
So today we figured we'd talk about book lights. I feel like Kristen has some views on them, but they're definitely popping up a lot more now. And I don't often go to the store because I normally buy books online and then get them shipped. But I was in the store the other day buying some for my niece's birthday, and I was like, would she even use a book light? I don't really know. So what are your thoughts on book lights?
Yeah, so for me, they are useless.
Fair enough.
So I see them in the stores all the time, and I do think they are becoming more popular and cropping up. I wonder if they're to sort of help bring people back to reading in bed before going to sleep instead of being on your phone, and getting helping you avoid that blue light, which is really bad for sleep.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe it's because I don't use one and don't have one, but I see them all the time, and there are so many different types.
Yeah.
And styles, and I just, in my brain, I don't get it.
Yeah. I feel like I had one when I was a kid, and I'd use it to sneak reading at night when my parents thought I was asleep. But is that what we're promoting here? Is that the point? Because as an adult, I'll just stay up and read. With
Yeah.
Light.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, I don't really, I guess maybe in the car, but I would just read something on my phone. If you're a passenger in a car at night.
Yeah, but then you'll just get car sick.
I don't get car sick.
Ever?
Ever.
Oh my god. I don't unless I start looking at something for a long period of time.
Oh no, I can read a full book in the car.
Oh my god, no. I would get sick. Play
Game Boy. Then you're waiting as you pass by the lights that outside the window. Can I see it? This isn't backlit. Need a light for that. Yeah. Those are really, I don't, personally, I guess I wouldn't use one. I don't think.
No. And it's funny though, because I did get one for my Secret Santa this past year.
You gave it, or someone gave it to you?
I gave one because that's what they want. It was on their wish list though.
Oh, okay.
So it was on their wish list, so that's what they got.
Yeah.
And I love this person dearly. Mm-hmm. She's one of my favorite people. So she wanted a book light. She got a book light. Yeah. But I just remember buying it and being I would never use this for myself. Maybe I would once to just, for the novelty of it.
Yeah.
But then it would very quickly just fall by the wayside.
Yeah. I think, I have been finishing a chapter, and Jeff's been I'm going to sleep, and I'll just, I have used my phone light, because he's turned off the, overhead light. And
right.
I don't really have a lamp. I don't know why. We have a strip of lights above the bed. Anyway, so he's turned that off, and I've just been I'm just gonna finish this one part and use my light on my phone.
Yeah.
But you always have your phone.
Yeah.
So I just don't think I would get a use out of it at this stage in my life.
Yeah. See, my husband, he always comes to bed late. He has insomnia, so therefore he's up till 2-3 o'clock in the morning every night. In order for him to fall asleep in a relatively short amount of time, he literally has to be dropping tired, exhausted, in order to get in bed and go to sleep. So I never have that issue, because I'm always in bed earlier than that.
Yeah.
So I can literally stay up and read as long as I want, and chances are I'm still asleep before him. I stayed up till 2 a.m. finishing a book the other night, and he was still not in bed. So I don't know. I guess it's not something that I need in my life. Maybe there are people that use them and find them really handy.
Yeah. Like I said, when I was a kid, super useful. Parents didn't know I was awake. No light coming out of the room. It's like that scene in Harry Potter where he's under the sheets with his flashlight.
See, I never had that issue because when I finally got into, like, reading to the extent that I guess that I am, I guess I was, like, responsible enough, like, not saying that you're not responsible, but, like, I wouldn't do that on weeknights.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I knew that I had to go to bed and go to sleep, so I would.
Yeah.
And, like, I would on the weekends, sure. I remember staying up till, like, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to read a book, but it was a weekend. Mom, Dad didn't care.
Yeah.
And I was, like, 11, 12 years old, so, like, they were upstairs in their room. I was downstairs in my room, because me and my sister had, like, rooms in the basement.
Yeah.
So, they didn't know.
Yeah.
And I guess they didn't really care, to be honest, because it was the weekend.
There's a lot worse things you could have been doing than reading on the weekend, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, my God. But, like, yeah, so I feel like maybe for you it was probably weeknights, or maybe you were a bit younger.
Yeah, and I used to swim at, like, ungodly hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I'm about to experience my first one of those.
Oh, yeah? That's exciting.
I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, so I also, just, like, as a side note, on, like, if we're talking book accessories, I also got as a gift that I still haven't used, which is why I feel like it would be the same with the book light. One of those, things that you put on your thumb to keep the, like, pages open.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like a little, it's made out of clay, I guess, the one that I have. I'm sure you can get them made out of a bunch of different things. And there's just a little hole for it, and I guess you put it on your thumb.
Yeah.
And then when you're holding a book open, it naturally, like, sort of spreads the pages more, so you don't have to exert, like, as much pressure.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Anyway,
got one of those. I got one similar, but it goes over the top of the book, and then I'm like, every time you turn the page,
you have to
refit it.
Yes!
I'm like, that's not
it's
what I'm looking to do here.
No.
So I also haven't used it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I haven't used it, and I feel sort of bad because my sister gave it to me, and, like, I know it came from the right place, and, like, on paper, yeah, that's a great gift for me.
Yeah.
But I'm just, like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm too lazy to, like...
Funny, because it's supposed to be a thing to help if you are lazy, and, like I'm too lazy for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But...
No, I get it, though. I don't know if I would... I just feel like I pick up my book and I'm just reading
You read it. Yeah, you don't want to, like... I feel like all these accessories are overcomplicating just reading the book.
Yeah. It is interesting, too, because obviously, like, a lot of things are going more, like, Kindle and Kobo e-readers instead of books. So it's like, is this to try to get people to read more books, to have accessories for them? Don't know.
Me either. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess that's our thought on book lights and other similar accessories.
Yeah.
So, just a heads up, this is not a spoiler-free zone, and things might get saucy. A little.
Yeah.
So, it is week 2 with Phantasma by Kaylie Smith, and we are reading chapters 13 to 22 this week. So last week we met our main character, Ophelia. Her mom recently died. She inherited her necromancer powers. And her and her sister are having a rough go. They found out that their house is being foreclosed on and they need 30 grand in order to save it. And then her sister disappears, and we learn that her sister assumes that she entered this, like, deadly magical contest called Phantasma, which is just like a murder mansion.
Yeah, really.
A magical murder mansion. So she follows her in. She gets her first sort of experience of a haunting and gets hurt, and then she meets a very handsome ghost who thinks she's special and wants help finding something, and offers to help her along the way, help her survive, help her get to level 7 where she can finally find her sister, and all it takes is for her to find what he needs. If she doesn't find it, she loses 10 years of her life.
No biggie.
No biggie. And we don't really get her answer as of the end of last week. He just sort of dropped the bomb that 10 years of your life is mine. And then it sort of stops. So we're gonna see what answer she had.
Yeah.
At this point. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Great.
It's really, I guess they did their first night, right?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I just thought it said night 2, but that's just because the first night is to settle in.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So we're on now. It's night 2 of Phantasma. So everything is broken up into nights. I think the whole thing lasts 10 nights. So we're on night 2. So she is asleep and having a dirty dream about the ghost, Blackwell. He's just pinning her to a wall, and she's, like, arching her hips into him and can feel his hard length and blah, blah, blah. So, like, this is the second time she's fantasizing about him. So, she's been really fantasizing about this guy, and it's only been, like, 24 hours, and she is really...
Feeling it.
Feeling it, yeah. If you remember last week, she had a moment in the tub. So she wakes up and realizes that she slept through breakfast and lunch. Like, she slept a really long time. So she sort of thinks that she hasn't been sleeping well the past few days. And the injury she got from being haunted and going... Last week she went through, like, a secret tunnel and was attacked by a ghoul and scraped her arm pretty bad. So that injury has burned up her magic. So I guess healing herself.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, really, the best way for her to replenish her magic is by sleeping.
Yeah.
So then we finally get her answer. Like, because as of right now, we're like, did she say yes? Did she say no? Like, what did she do? So we finally get the answer, and that she turned him down. She sent him away. She does not want to give up 10 years of her life when she can find Genevieve on her own.
Yeah. So
she goes to dinner and finds Lucy there looking haggard. So Lucy is another contestant. Then this guy Eric comes in and sits down near her and introduces himself. His dad owns the largest tobacco plant in the city. So, like, why are you here? Why are you here, dude?
Yeah, I kind of wondered that too, because, like, everyone that's there is there because they need something. So it's like, if he's rich, what are you doing here?
Yeah. I'm assuming, I feel like it may have mentioned at a different point, but he's not super important, so I just sort of like, eh.
Yeah. They mention a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm. So I just really love Ophelia. Like, and I feel like I keep saying this, but, like, she's not demure.
Yeah.
She's quiet, but she isn't afraid of, like, a confrontation.
Yeah.
Because he's, like, sitting down trying to be chatty, and she's like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to socialize with you.
Yeah.
Like, just flat out says, like, stop talking to me.
Love it.
So then he switches over to Lucy, and he's like, I heard you barely survived last night. And she's just like, oh. Like, she doesn't want to talk about it, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
And then he gets annoyed because nobody seems to want to engage with him, which is good. Like, it's, people aren't there to make friends.
Yeah.
Like, no, apart from, like, a couple of them, no one is being intentionally, like, terrible or rude to each other or anything like that. They're just, like, not here for it.
Yeah. Agreed.
And he's just like, well, I don't like this. Nobody's talking to me. Meh.
Entitled.
Yeah. So he just tells them that, yeah, you're quiet now, but, like, if this is how it's gonna be, I'm not gonna help any of you when you die or drop out.
Cool.
And Ophelia noticed when he came in that he didn't have his vest buttoned up right. He had missed a couple buttons.
Yeah.
And she's like, dude, you would not be my first choice if I needed help. You can't even do up your buttons right.
I love it.
And it was great. I also really, like, I like how sassy she is.
Yeah.
And, like, again, for somebody that has a voice in her head telling her to do terrible things all the time and, like, warning her about things and, you know, just her being sort of the type, it just, the way she is perceived makes it seem like she would be a lot softer and sort of, like, more hesitant to engage.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not, and I really enjoy that about her character.
Yeah, I feel like she's not as abrupt as Genevieve has been the few times we've seen her. But, like, she does have a backbone, and if you're annoying her, she's not going to stand for it, which is fair. Yeah,
and I like that. I like when our female main characters have backbone.
Yeah, me too.
I like when they're not all like, oh, save me. I can't do anything myself. You have to save me.
Fair.
Anyway. So I guess Ophelia's busy eating. She hears another couple people chatting, because people do come in together. Not, like, together, but, like...
Although...
Well...
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like, Lucy and her cousin, Cade, came in sort of together. So, like, people are, like, I think there's a brother-sister duo. You know, there are people coming in as pairs.
Yeah, which 100% just reminds me of Serpent and whatever.
Yeah. Serpent and the Wings of Night.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so she hears this one guy saying that he read an interview with a past contestant that each level, so like each level of the house, the game, they have to do 9 of them, each one sort of depicts or focuses on a circle of hell. And here's what I don't understand. So, like, they talk about, like, greed and gluttony and lust and all that. And those are the 7 deadly sins.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, are they synonymous with the 9 circles of hell? Because their numbers are different.
I wonder if that's, like, a common thing, because, like, that's kind of what it's like in Kingdom of the Feared or Kingdom of the Wicked.
Yeah.
So it does kind of remind me of that. But yeah, I wouldn't have thought so, but I don't really know much about the circles of hell, to be honest.
Okay. I've just looked them up because I felt I had to.
Yeah.
So it's funny that they are actually just a concept from Dante's Inferno, like, which I have read. Like, I had to read it I had to read it for school.
Yeah.
Early writers before the 17th century, I think, was the course. Anyway, but I didn't realize that, like, he invented these circles. Like, I thought that maybe he took the concept from biblical lore.
Yeah.
But apparently not.
Interesting.
So apparently it is a layered structure within hell, with each circle corresponding to a different category of sin and its associated punishment. So I guess it makes sense that the 7 deadly sins are represented.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also limbo being the first one. Which is the one we're about to see.
Yeah.
But it's the first circle houses those that were virtuous but never knew Christianity or were born before Christ. So.
Rude.
Yeah. Then there's lust, gluttony, greed, anger or wrath, heresy,
heresy,
heretics, which is, I don't think, is that a 7 deadly sin?
Definitely not with that name.
No, so it could be something else. Then violence, fraud,
okay,
and treachery.
Interesting.
Yeah. So not exactly aligned with the 7 deadly sins, but
yeah, there's some similarities.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. We get off track, but it was, I just felt it was important.
Yeah. Especially if that's what they're going to be going off of in this book.
Yeah, and they do, and I do think it is in order.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they all finish eating. They're all wondering what their task, what the level is going to be, and then it starts. And Ophelia's thinking that, like, right now it's important for her to sort of blend in instead of stick out. So she doesn't want to, like, make a lot of waves. And, like, sort of, she doesn't want to speak up a lot.
Yeah.
So the lights turn off and a voice announces that it's the start of level 1. And the voice is their host, Zell. So Zell appears and Ophelia is, like, shocked. He's a devil. Yeah, so I guess she's never seen one before, and, like, her mom instilled hate into her about the devils. So he actually has horns, so sort of your natural, sort of superficial, like, what you would think of when you think of a devil. I don't think he's red, though. So Ophelia knows that, like, each devil has a different way of marking the fact that they're a devil. And they all have different powers, as her mother taught her. So Zell explains what's going to happen. He's going to summon a portal to level 1, and each host, so, like, he's the host for level 1, but someone else is going to come and host level 2, level 3, and so on. Yeah. They will give them a clue as to what they're going to find in this level. And this right here is their last chance to forfeit. Once they go into a level, the only way out is death, winning, or making a deal. So you make a deal with him. If they win, they are brought back to Phantasma and they get a winner's mark. So the clue for this level is: in deepening light where senses fade, a labyrinth vast, a daunting maze. No sight, no sound, no touch to guide. Navigate true or be crushed inside. Beware the beast within the heart and find the door back to start. So, pretty straightforward, I think.
Yeah, well, I just expected her to have a better understanding, because earlier she said that she was super interested in the levels of hell and the princes. The handsome devils. Like, she mentioned that last week, how that's what she loved most about studying. So I was just like, shouldn't she know something about what the levels of hell are like? And their order?
But I guess, I don't think this is an actual level, though. Like, I don't think level, like, the first circle of hell has a maze in it.
No, but, like, you just said it was limbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, like, the no senses.
Yes, I guess. But I also feel like maybe they don't give them enough time to, like, process it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I don't even understand why they bother giving them clues. Because, like, again, they have no time to... It's like, here's your clue. Okay, get in, bye.
Well, and then it's one at a time, so the people who are first have more of a disadvantage because they have less time to think about what the clue is, and they're just thrown in.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Anyway, so he calls everybody's name individually, and they all each step through the portal. And so Ophelia steps in, she's the last one, and they're all deposited at different points. So, like, she can't see anybody else. Like, there's no one with her. And she knows that it's limbo. Like, that's what it's based on. And she sees a wall in front of her and touches it, and then snatches her hand away because she can't feel it. And she can't feel anything. And she realizes the only sense working is her sight. But I don't understand that, because the clue said, no sight, no sound, no touch to guide.
I think it does mention a bit later that it gets darker.
Oh, okay, fine.
Every
Right,
so
I
many
forgot about
rounds,
that.
yeah.
Ugh.
But it would be really hard
if you
didn't have anything.
Yeah, that's true.
It would be impossible.
You only get your sense of taste. Anyway, so Ophelia thinks about her mother's lessons, about the 9 circles of hell.
Can you taste if you can't touch anything?
What do you mean, can you taste if you can't touch anything?
Like, what?
Oh,
like
are you suggesting that you can't?
Wall.
Sure you can.
But if you can't touch, can you lick a wall? Like, if you don't have the ability to touch something, can you lick a wall?
We're getting some.
Sorry, I
don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I feel like if you put something, now again, maybe licking a wall is different, but like if you had like say a popsicle and took a little piece off and put it on your tongue, I think you'd still be able to taste it.
Yes.
You might not feel it in your mouth, but you'd still be able to taste what it is.
Yes, that's a good point. You might not feel it, but you might be able to taste it.
Yeah. Now, how would licking a wall help you? That's another question.
Well, how else are you going to find out which way to go? That's my thing. Like,
how would licking a wall help you find which way to go?
If you can
feel
it.
Taste like the left.
If you can feel it, I guess. Like, how else are you going to know there are things around? How do you use your taste to help you?
If you can't see it.
If you can't see or feel or anything. It's just, I don't think there's any winning.
No. I don't think so. Oh my.
Anyway, side note.
So the 9 circles of hell is ruled by the King of Devils. And at this point, so I wrote down my theories as I was going through this book. Yeah. And I put, it's definitely Blackwell. I was so suspicious.
Oh, yeah. There are so many things pointing to him not being what he says he is.
Yeah.
Especially, like, later this week, she kind of starts asking him about his past. And, like, I think 2 things could be true. Like, I think he could be somebody, but he also just doesn't know when he's in Phantasma.
Okay.
Like, I feel like he's not lying to her about what he remembers.
No. Yes, I agree with you there. Like, I genuinely do think he has no memory, but...
Yeah.
Who he really is might be different than, like... We have to solve the mystery of who he really is.
Yeah. It also makes me wonder, like, he doesn't remember things. He says this specifically, but we kind of understood that last week. Like, he doesn't remember some things. So I kind of wondered, like, is he, like, a different, like, does he act different outside? Because he could organize all this shit outside and then completely forget once he's inside.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's many options. Yeah.
But, like, so it was already sort of hinting that he might not actually be a phantom. Like, because he is really powerful.
Yeah.
And, like, also the fact she mentioned last week, he walks instead of floats. He eats and drinks. Ghosts don't do that. So, like, already they're laying it out for us that maybe he's not who we think, who she thinks he is. So I was like, oh, it's definitely the King of Devils, definitely Blackwell.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it exists as a kingdom for paranormal beings. So it's just a kingdom. It's not like... It's not this fiery pit that we all, like, assume it is.
Yeah. Which, again, reminds me of Kingdom of the Wicked.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. And it sort of is the same idea. She thinks that the immortal class of beings, so, like, devils, ghosts, phantoms, like, all those things we talked about at the beginning, can access the 9 circles whenever they want. They can, like, pop in and out. She is a mortal class of paranormal. She's not immortal. So the only thing she really gets is a longer lifespan than normal. She doesn't get access to the circles. She can't really pop in and out. And then she explains that hell isn't meant as a punishment for humans. Now, she says, like, those that are sinful and that do bad things, they are punished in hell. And likewise, heaven exists for the ephemeral beings, which I had to look up. I'm like, what the hell is ephemeral?
Yes. I just was like, this is Kristen's part. She'll explain it to me.
But I don't even know if I get it, because when I looked it up, we sort of talked about last week about how I didn't have the book. I didn't have the book, so I was reading it on Kindle Unlimited. So I did the highlight thing where it tells you what the word means. I know, it's so convenient. And it just means lasting for a very short time. So it's like the opposite of immortal. So I'm like, I don't understand, like,
wouldn't that just be everybody that's mortal?
No, apparently not, though, like...
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, so it's something fleeting or short-lived.
Okay. I guess maybe if you are so young when you die that, like, you haven't done anything. I
guess.
But it's weird that there's just a word for it. Interesting.
Yeah, and I wonder, like, do they mean, are angels technically ephemeral? Like, is that what they mean? I didn't really understand the point of the word. Like,
yeah.
And I will say, the thing about Kaylie Smith's writing that I've noticed, she does like to drop in some fancy words. And, like, more so than normal.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but her color choices.
Yeah. I did have to look up one of the colors one time because I was like, what color were her eyes?
Yeah.
I think it said cerulean or something, and I was like, I'm like 90% sure that that's blue, but I did look it up.
Yeah, and, like, she's, like, vermilion, and, like, just some, like, there's just some color choices, and I'm just like, this just, like, I understand wanting to vary your vocabulary 100%, but
yeah,
I didn't really understand the use of the word ephemeral in this context.
No, I don't.
Anyway, so heaven exists for the ephemeral beings and is no more good or worse than hell. But whereas hell has the job of punishing sinful people, heaven has the job of rewarding people that died with exceptional valor. But, like, souls that are good and bad exist in both places. So, heaven is not solely good, hell is not solely evil. And then she says that, like, her mother never really taught her about angels and seraphim, who I assume are the ephemeral beings. So does that mean they live for a day and then they're gone? I don't know. Anyway. And her mom only taught her about devils and the circles of hell. Like, didn't teach her anything about heaven. And I wonder if that means, like, could we maybe in the next book, that is Genevieve's book, like, maybe it could be something heaven-y?
Yeah.
I wonder?
Yeah.
To, like, learn about that side of it?
Yeah.
It was just a thought I had.
No, I'm just looking, I'm thinking of the cover. It's very purpley.
It's purple. It's purpley.
It's really pretty.
So she thought about, like, the lessons her mom taught her about how souls punished in the circle of violence were ripped apart every morning.
Right.
No. Souls punished in the circle of greed have to watch everything and everyone they covet be melted in a pot of lava.
Great.
Yeah. In the circle of gluttony, they have to run without stopping forever. And then she thinks in the circle of limbo, ... And then she realizes this is Phantasma's version of limbo, which is sensory deprivation.
Have you ever done one of those tanks that's like a sensory deprivation tank?
No, that would terrify me, I think.
It's definitely interesting. I'd like to try it, but I don't know how I'd feel about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think I would be okay with it, because I'd be left with my thoughts, and I don't think that's a good idea for anybody.
No, I don't either.
So, like, this is sort of what again, I'm sort of like, so, I guess, looking at it, the first circle of limbo is for people who never sinned, but who have Christianity or were born before Christ.
Which is just so
it's like,
mean.
You had no idea this thing existed, so here.
Because it didn't exist. Yeah.
So it says, within Limbo is a great castle surrounded by 7 walls. And the souls in Limbo are not punished directly, but are condemned to suffer harm through living in desire. Their punishment is to be left desirous of salvation. So, I guess I just don't really understand how she got sensory deprivation from that. You know what I mean?
Yes, do know what you mean.
So Circle 1, the souls of pagans and the unbaptized wander the caves of Limbo in loneliness with the desperation to meet God. So, I just don't understand how she's like, oh, right, sensory deprivation, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. But she got it.
She did, yeah. So, the voice in her head tells her she's not going to make it, and she's going to die if she doesn't escape in 5 minutes. So she tries to ignore the voice and calm down, so she just starts the maze. And she takes a few turns and realizes that she turned in a circle, which I don't understand how she figured it out, but it's fine. The lights then dim a little bit. And she's like, oh, they're slowly gonna take away my last sense. So she needs a way to mark the paths so that she doesn't make a circle again. So she uses her magic sparks to write start on the wall, and then every time she makes a turn, like takes a path, she marks an X. And she makes it a while, and she comes back to an X, so takes the other path, and she notices a wall moving towards her, and remembers part of the riddle talks about crushing her, so she, like, picks up her pace. So she makes it to, like, a next section, and there's moving walls all over the place, and then she has to start running and, like, squeezing herself through openings to prevent her from getting trapped or squat. So she gets closer to the center, and she's getting frustrated, and walls are moving towards her, following her, it feels like, she says.
Yeah.
And she makes it through another gap just in time for, like, 2 walls to smack against each other, so, like, she would have been crushed. And the shadow voice just, like, chuckles at the thought of her being crushed. So, like, it's not a nice voice.
No. It hasn't... I think she... And you probably are going to say this shortly, because that's what always happens. But I think she even says, like, it doesn't normally want her to die.
Yeah. It's not normally so gleeful for her demise.
Yeah, or for her to get injured and stuff. So, like, it is changing.
Yeah.
Inside here.
Yeah, and it's literally my next note. Because the voice has never wished her harm. Just gives her tasks. It always happens. I know, it does, yeah.
We're like, I have something to say. I too read the book. I also read this part. That's how this goes. Oh, God.
So, I guess the voice asks her, so, like, she's like, oh, dude, this voice is getting really dark. And the voice then asks her if she can't handle can you not handle the real me? And at this point, I'm like, obviously the voice is not in her head. It's an actual voice. Like, she's possessed in some way. Like, maybe there's a devil, like, speaking to her.
Yeah. There's something obviously going on making this worse.
Mm-hmm. So she reaches the center of the labyrinth, and sleeping in the center is a hellhound. Fine. So she obviously read about them with her mother, and she knows that they stay asleep as long as you don't touch what they're guarding. Like, they just won't wake up. You can make as much noise as you want.
Yeah. I know it's so stupid white people shit, but I would want to pet it. I'm just like, I'm a cute dog.
I wonder if it would wake up if you pet it.
It doesn't sound like it, but then, like, it doesn't consent to you petting it either, because it's asleep.
That's true.
So I'd have to wake it up, and then...
Can I touch you?
Yeah.
So 2 more people reach the center. Lucy's cousin Cade, and some rando named Beau. So they run towards the hound, and she's like, what are they doing? And, like, is trying to get them to stop. But then she sees what they're going for and what the dog is guarding. It's a trap door. So she's like, oh, that's the exit. So they run for it, open the door, and go through it. And obviously the dog immediately wakes up. And then all of her senses return. So, like, that's good.
Yeah.
So the hellhound sees her and sees that she's the only one around and starts, like, chasing after her. And she just runs. And she's pissed that those guys were so selfish, but she's not surprised. So...
Yeah, I kind of think she's a bit naive here. I don't even know if that's the right word, but I'm just like, obviously, it's in everyone's best interest if everybody else dies. Like,
yeah, and I also think she needs to understand, too, that, like, not everybody's education was the same. So, like, they did, like, there's a very good chance they had no idea this was a hellhound.
True.
Had no idea that it wouldn't wake up until they touched the door. Like,
That's a really
how
good
are
point.
they going to know that?
Yeah.
They just see a big-ass dog and see the exit and run for it. So, like, you know, I do agree, like, as much as I want to be like, yeah, those guys were selfish, like, I think it was a little bit much to expect them to, like, know what they're at.
Or to, like, if you wait, you're eventually, like, the dog could just wake up. They don't know that, like you just said. But if you wait and it starts getting darker and darker, like, you all can't jump in at the same time. Like, I just don't really know logistically, like, what she expected.
Yeah. So she bangs into another contestant as she's running. So they run together. But the young guy is getting tired. And I'm like, how is that guy getting tired? But she is not getting tired. Like, she is a demure. I say demure, even though I said she wasn't demure. She's not. But, like, she's a lady of the, like, late 19th, early 20th century. I can't imagine she does a good deal of running.
Other than, like, when she sprints because of the voice in her head to get home.
Yeah.
But, like, it doesn't seem like she, like, exercises much. She's in the house all the time studying.
Yeah. So, I just don't understand how she's not tired, but he is, but it's fine. And she just knows that the hound is going to catch up to this guy soon. So she debates, like, leaving him, and I'm like, okay. But then her locket warms, and she knows that means she has to help him. So she gathers all of her magic, like, bundles it, like, gathers it within her, and stops in front of the hound, and shoots it all at it, making the hound run away. So they find the center again. I guess they got the dog, like, to go away long enough. They find the center. And they go through the trapdoor just as they hear someone scream. And she feels bad leaving people with the dog.
Yeah.
But it's fine. So they fall back into the dining room, and Cade and his buddy Beau are eating at the table. And she's pissed. She's like, you guys almost got people killed. And I'm like, not almost. People are definitely going to die.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
or make deals, and, like, what is that going to entail?
Yeah. She was like, so you guys almost got people killed by not waiting, and calls them selfish pricks. But then Cade and Beau call her naive. And Cade just says if he has to choose between himself and everyone else here, he's choosing himself. And that his family told him to either come back with the prize or don't come back at all. Which is kind of sad. Like, I know
sad. Yeah.
he's sort of built up to be the villain in this book.
Yeah.
And I do kind of feel bad a little bit for him.
In this one moment.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him.
Well, I feel bad for him in one more moment, too.
Okay. I don't know if I got that.
You probably haven't. So Beau, like, adds in that Zell, the demon, is already bargaining with people. So if they don't take his deals, it's their own fault they die. So, like, he's putting the onus on everybody else.
Yeah.
And that's when Ophelia is like, it's really bad that that's how they're getting their deals. Like, they're preying on them in, like, a moment of weakness. And he says, like, she says, or she thinks that, like, obviously these are not the devils of her daydreams. And in my head, when I first wrote it, I was like, what daydreams? Like, I wish we had one. But I do remember now that she does briefly, in, like, one sentence, talk about how, like, what she thinks of the devils and had sort of this romantic notion of them.
Yeah. When she was talking about learning about them, she was like, and the handsome devils that she liked to think about. And it's like, that. I guess she's thinking something.
Yeah. So, like, I guess her thought of what the devils were and could be was that they could choose to take advantage of people with their power, but instead use their powers for, like, sex, is what she wants. Sort of, I guess, our interpretation of vampires.
Love it.
You know what I mean? But that's how she felt about devils, but now she's sort of realizing that they're not like that. And I'm like, obviously. Yeah. And Cade adds that he was like, I would rather the devils be in here taking bargains instead of out on the streets of the city, which is another good point, actually. So he's pissed at, so, like, this Cade guy is pissed at Ophelia for calling him out, so he actually grabs her arm. And, like, she tries to wrench it out of his grasp, but he's too strong. And he looks at her like she's prey, and he's not letting her go. And then her wrist turns transparent and slips through his grasp, and then it goes back to solid.
Interesting.
Yes, it is interesting, because that's never happened to her before.
No.
And he freaks out and thinks that maybe she's one of the manor's traps.
It's not a bad thought.
No. And I wonder if the house, like, or the Phantasma has ever done that before, because it wouldn't be out of the question.
Yeah, put somebody in the competition and they're not real. Yeah. It'd be interesting.
So they're like, oh my god, let's get out of here. The young kid that she got from the maze is, like, passed out in his own vomit on the floor, so that's fun for him. And Ophelia's like, it's his problem now.
Yeah.
And then the room is covered in darkness, and Beau and Cade think that it's Ophelia doing it. And then a few candles light up, and the table is now covered in spiders, maggots, other bugs, and Beau vomits, because they were just eating that food. Yep. And
it's disgusting.
It is like so gross. It's one of those, it's like that iconography that, like, bleh, is really absolutely gross. And Cade calls her a demon and tells her to make it stop, but she's like, I'm not a demon!
I'm not doing this.
Then a silver knife appears on the table, and Cade grabs it and attacks her with it. Apparently silver can hurt immortal beings. She tries to tell him that she isn't working for Phantasma, but he doesn't believe her. So he tackles her to the ground and attempts to stab her. The silver knife can send, so, like, we heard, it can send demons back to hell permanently, like, forever. So he stabs her chest, but there's no pain, because from the neck down, she disappeared again.
What the actual fuck?
Yeah. And then Blackwell appears behind Cade and asks if she's gonna fight back, which reminds her, like, oh yeah, I have magic.
I should fight back.
Yeah. So she forces what she has left into Cade's stomach, which launches him off of her. So Blackwell is non-corporeal at this point, and then he shifts to be semi-transparent so that only she can see him. And he grabs Cade's shirt and yanks him back so he can't go for her again. And Cade's like, stop doing this, you bitch! And Blackwell then solidifies himself so Cade can see him and threatens him. He doesn't like that he called Ophelia a name.
Oh, how sweet.
I love this. I love the whole, like, I'm a sucker for touch her and die.
Oh, 100%.
Like, such a sucker.
Yeah.
So, like, Cade is an ass and says that it's amazing that even demons have whores. And that makes Blackwell twist Cade's wrist. And I don't know if it twists until it breaks. It doesn't really go into details.
Yeah.
So Ophelia feels spiders, like, crawling up her arm, and she doesn't freak out. She just brushes them off.
Yeah.
I would be like, ah!
Wouldn't be me, let me tell you now.
Yeah.
With how big these spiders are, fuck that.
Yeah. So Blackwell sends Cade flying against a wall and tells her she needs to get out of here because it's about to get much worse. And then they see huge spiders, bigger than her head, coming out of the ceiling.
Good.
Yeah. So he leads her out of an exit and all of a sudden tells her not to move. There is a giant snake with fangs the size of her forearm with 3 rows of teeth.
How?
I don't know. So Blackwell moves behind her, almost like he's hiding behind her, which is hilarious.
Mm-hmm. And it almost like he's, like, holding her like he's about to teach her how to shoot pool.
Yeah.
Or shoot basketball, you know?
Yeah. So he becomes transparent again so the snake can't see him. He's, like, holding her waist and, like, he's right up against her and he tells her to stay still. And then when he tells her to run. So he blinks away. And she hears glass crash and the serpent gets distracted. And she's just waiting for Blackwell's signal thinking, oh, that was the signal to tell her to run. But it doesn't come. Like, he doesn't come back and tell her to run. And she starts to lose confidence that he'll come back at all. And, like, I mean, she's only met the guy twice.
Oh, 100%. I don't blame her for this. It is kind of sad.
And, like, she's like, I probably shouldn't trust the guy I only met yesterday that wants to, like, make a deal and take 10 years of my life. Which, can I just also say, do we not think it's suspicious? Or does she, like, I know she doesn't, but in my brain as I was reading this, I was like, another flag is that he wants to make a deal as a phantom, but the devils are the ones that make the deals.
Yeah, I think you did say this last week.
Did I?
Yeah, because he was coming up with a deal and you were like, I didn't realize that he could do that.
Yeah, none of the other apparitions are trying to make deals here.
Yeah. So,
I don't know. I just feel like she should have been like, oh, it's weird that you want to make a deal. You're not a devil. Anyway. So, she's just thinking, like, I should just make a run for it anyway. He's not coming back. So, she makes a run for it. Obviously, it was the wrong decision because the serpent looks back and tries to strike at her immediately. So, she dodges the first strike, but knocks into, like, this marble pedestal and breaks it and falls and then slices her hand open on the shards. So I'm like, very graceful of her. She's one of those people that, like, if she can get injured, I feel like she will.
Yeah. Which, I kind of feel like we're one of those people.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So, can't really be mad at her.
No.
Because I'm like, in real life, both of us are like that.
Somebody that I know literally stubbed their toe on, like, a piece of luggage or something last week and broke their toe.
Ooh, ow.
Just from stubbing it.
Yeah, and there's not much you can do for a broken toe.
She's got to wear a boot.
Oh, really? For a broken toe?
Yeah.
Is it her big toe?
No, I think it was her pinky toe.
Oh. I guess pinky toes are a lot of balance.
But I don't know if it was the toe that broke or if it might have been, like, the bone.
A little bone.
Like, under, you know what I mean? Like, in the foot right next to the pinky. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Ow.
Yeah. So, goes to show you. Stubbing your toe could be very dangerous. Anyway, so the snake, like, she's fallen on the floor. The snake strikes her again. Obviously, she's not fast enough because she's on the floor. And the snake bites her in the shoulder. That's not a killing blow, though, so it goes to strike her again. And she uses the tiniest bit of magic she has left to distract the snake so she can run. Then we get a little quick info dump on necromancer magic. I mentioned last week that I was gonna say, oh, quick info dump, because she just, like, in my head, I'm like, she shouldn't be thinking about this right now. But it's for us. So necromancer magic is different. It's not like witch or demon magic where it can be manipulated to become other things. It's just like pure energy. So it's meant to be like help as a bridge to the other side and to bring energy to something dead or undead. And the only way to replenish it is through the life force of another being or rest. So essentially she needs either someone to give her their soul or she needs to sleep. So her sparks distract the snake for about 10 seconds, which is enough time for her to grab a sword off the wall. I'm like, well, that's handy that there's a sword there.
Yeah.
And when the snake goes to strike her again, she pulls like what I think of as like a basilisk move and like stabs it up
in
through,
the mouth.
through the top of the mouth.
Yeah. It's the only way to kill snakes.
Yeah, apparently. And blood spurts out everywhere and then it disappears. And then she hears a voice behind her say, Ophi? And she looks and sees her sister's silhouette in the doorway. And she's like, oh my god, it's my sister. She's here. She's actually here in the building. And then Genevieve turns and runs from the room, urging Ophelia to hurry and move faster and come towards her. And Ophelia is like in a ton of pain from the bite on her shoulder, and she's starting to feel dizzy and woozy, and like obviously that means the bite had venom in it. And Genevieve keeps trying to say, come towards me, like, come here. And she can hear a hint of something dangerous in her voice, but, like, and Ophelia, like, can't go another step, and her eyes shut, and she just feels like shit. And then she hears a thud, and then something picks her up and tells her she's gonna be such trouble. And the voice keeps speaking to her after that, as it brings her somewhere soft. But she doesn't really understand what the voice is saying, and she passes out. Then we're on night 3 of Phantasma. I would be annoyed at my, like, circadian rhythm. I feel like it would be all out of whack.
Oh, yeah. But she's in her early 20s. She doesn't have to worry about that shit.
Yeah. So, Ophelia wakes up to something cool on her forehead and something warm against her hip. The cat is curled up with her, and it's really cute, and I love it.
I love the cat so much.
Well, apparently cat purrs have healing properties.
Aww. I love that.
Yeah. So Blackwell is there, and he tells her to be careful, and she sits up, and she's like, why are you in my room? And I'm like, that's your first question?
Yeah.
Then she notices that his outfit is different. And I'm like, so can ghosts change outfits? Like, girl, like, use your
brain.
Yeah, use your, like, critical thinking skills here.
And, well, the fact that she knows so much about these entities and isn't using thoughts.
Like, she's literally pointed out 3 different things. Like, he doesn't float like ghosts. He eats when ghosts can't eat. And now he's changing his clothes that ghosts can't or don't do. So, like, I just wish she was like, maybe you're not a ghost after all. You know what I mean? But, like, she's using this, phantoms are different because they're rare. Yeah. And I don't...
She's never met one.
Yeah.
So she can't... And I'm like, just because you've never met one doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. It's unsettling. She asks him what happened, and he tells her that she's impatient and that she didn't wait for his signal. But she's like, dude, I thought you abandoned me. You were gone for like 5 minutes. And she's like, I don't know why you think I should trust you. This whole place is set out to kill me. And he's like, I could have just offered not to help you. I could have just left. But I did help. And he was like, that alone should warrant some trust. The fact that he offered to help. And then he says he even saved her from being possessed by a poltergeist.
Yeah.
So then we get an info dump on poltergeists. So they are the souls of deceased demons that escape from the other side. They have the same abilities as regular apparitions, but with one exception. They can possess people. And if they possess someone long enough, they can steal your soul and resurrect themselves back to their original demonic form. And they can shapeshift into people you care about to lure you in. So it was obvious that that was not Genevieve.
Yeah.
So he's annoyed that she fell for that and that she didn't know that. And in her brain, she's like, I did know that.
Yeah, she's almost like, that was stupid of me too.
Yeah, because she's like, dude, I literally had I had snake venom running through my whole system.
Yeah.
And she was also like, I also beat the hellhound without you. Like, she's like, I'm not helpless. And I guess the way he's talking, she thinks that he believes her to be, like, helpless or incompetent. And she's like, no, I had a moment of weakness because I killed a snake and had venom running through my body.
Yeah.
I also just survived a bunch of spiders and gross things, an attack from a crazy guy, and being attacked by a hellhound. She really has had a day.
Yeah. She really has.
But then he tells her that he was actually impressed with her in the maze. And that shocks her because that means he watched her in the maze.
Which is interesting. Like, how is he able to do that?
It brings me back to Akatar, to be honest. Of, like, everybody watching her trials.
Well, obviously, the poltergeist guy.
Yeah.
That was her sister. That reminded me of Akatar.
Mm.
Because, what is it? Whatever it is. A puka,
oh,
maybe?
yeah, the puka.
Becomes her father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then she's like, what? You saw it? And he says, yeah, like, the levels exist on another plane. So, like, those of us that are able to shift between planes can watch everything. And he even said that the devils have betting pools for each group. Which I find really funny. But he tells her, don't worry, you're not in the losing bracket yet. So she noticed...
Well, she almost won that one. If she
I know.
I
know. If she would have been first.
Yeah. I don't know if that matters, but I care.
Yeah. So she notices that her arm is still, like, wounded. But under the wound, there's a little gold star. And that's a winner's mark. So it's almost like a little tattoo.
Yeah. And I think, literally, you're probably about to say it, but they're like, I don't know if this is permanent. And it's like, that's something you'd think that they would tell them. Like, but it does. So during this week, I also came up with the theory that I think that her mother has done this before. And it does make me wonder, like, if she checked her mother's
body.
Oh. If she'd find the stars.
Oh, yeah. Does her mother get buried? Did she make that known?
I assume so. She's in a casket, so I assume the casket is going in the ground.
Oh, so theoretically, we could
dig it up.
You could exhume the body.
Exactly.
So I guess she's looking at her wound, and Blackwell reminds her that, like, her arm is bad, and he can't heal her until she agrees to the bargain. And I'm just like, oh, that took a turn.
Well, it's 100% actor.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ophelia's annoyed that he, like, is bringing it back to that again. And wonders, like, did he summon the snake?
Yeah.
To, like, sort of force her hand. And he tells her, like, no, the manor did that. Like, sort of the manor almost has a mind of its own. Not a mind, but, like, has a will of its own. And he says that was actually one of the contestants' greatest fears, that they surrendered when they came here. So the house...
Which is what we talked about last week.
Yeah. So the house...
Because I was like, whatever her fear is, sounds like it's huge. Is it going to affect everyone or just her? But yeah.
I know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
So I guess the house gets to decide when they use the greatest fear, who they use it on, and that sort of thing. So, I guess the house decided to use it on her at that moment. But, like, I guess my thought, what I wonder, is when the house or the devils or whoever decides to, like, okay, we're gonna play this fear now. Like, the house is like, I'm gonna put the snake in here. Is it only in there for her? Like, if someone else comes in, will they also be wrapped up in it? Or is it just, we'll play that for her today? Because it seems like and we learned this last week, that, like, the hauntings, like, they play the same ones over and over every time. Yeah. But, like, it seems like they do it differently. For, like, not every contestant is experiencing the exact same haunting at the exact same time.
Yeah, for these ones, it seems like. Like, the ghoul, I think everyone got at the same time.
I don't know if they did, because, like, I think a little later in the book, someone else is like, oh, the blood one.
Oh.
And she's like, oh, yeah, I experienced that one. It's a doozy. Like,
yeah.
So, like, it feels like
it's really, the house decides when to do it. That will be the worst for the contestant.
Yes. Anyway, yeah, so, like, I wonder if somebody else came in the room when the snake was attacking her. Would they also get wrapped up in the snake attacking her, or would they just walk by it?
So, are the boys experiencing this?
No, the boys are not.
Because they were just eating the food, and then it became...
Yeah, so I think they're all...
spiders and stuff.
Yeah.
So, if you're in the room, do you experience it, too?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, we'll keep up to date on this, and... try to figure it out as we go.
Yeah. So yeah. So Blackwell says, like, he wants them to trust each other and help each other. And he tells her that he needs the connection to someone living to be more powerful to help her. So, like, he needs the bargain in order to keep himself powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she realizes that the 10 years that he wants if she fails is how he sustains himself in the in-between. And he admits, yes, that's true. So, like, right now, he's living on someone's 10 years. Like, that's how he is as powerful as he is. And he says his powers are actually stronger when he's got a bargain, like a blood bargain. And she asks, what happens if 10 years is all she has left? And she dies, like, and if she fails, she dies, drops dead immediately.
Yeah.
And he tells her it's still better than being ripped apart by a hellhound. And I'm like, yeah, not a lie. I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But, like, she got past the hellhound.
Well, I guess. But, like, he does, I think if he hasn't said it yet, he is going to say it, that, like, this was the easy one. This was the easiest one. And she's like, well, shit.
Yeah. Like, of course it was.
Yeah.
They're obviously going to get harder and harder.
So, she actually thinks, and it's funny because she, like, would have never thought she would, but she agrees to the bargain. Because she's like, if that was easy, I do need to make it to level 7 to find my sister. So, like, why not? Yeah. So he spells out the bargain for her. He says he vows to use the connection to answer her summons anytime, anywhere, and help her. Yes.
In the tub.
And offers, he's like, I'll help you out in dire situations. And I was sort of thinking, like, oh, I don't like the word dire. Like, does that mean he'll only help if she's, like, in danger? And then in exchange, she will use her time in Phantasma to find his anchor. And she has until it's time for her to leave, and if she fails, she has to transfer 10 years of her lifespan to him. And she tells him that if she does find it, she wants payment. She wants something. As if, like, him helping her live is not enough.
Yeah. Well, I guess the living is in exchange for the 10 years, but then, I don't know. The helping her is in exchange, yeah. But they are spending a lot of time searching. So I'm like, she is being very helpful.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't she sleep?
No.
Yeah.
So she tells him, like, that her family has debt, like, the house, the house is being foreclosed on, and he's like, I don't have mortal money. I don't know what you want me to do there.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, well, what if you find my sister? And he's like, again, you don't get this prize until you've completed your end of the deal. So, like, so finding your sister is not valid. And he's like, how about, like, he's like, if you win, the gift that you get from winning is much better than what I could do. And we find, I don't know if we got it before, but we finally get, like, what the prize is for winning Phantasma, and it's the Devil's Grant, which is an omnipotent favor that can be used to do anything.
Yeah, it's interesting. It is very much like Serpent in the Wings of Night.
Yeah, 100%. So he's like, you could just use the Devil's Grant to pay off your debt. So he says, like, I suggest let's get past the 7 levels, find your sister, get her to forfeit, but stick around and win. And he looks at her lifeline on her palm and says it's very long. So, like, he's like, don't worry about the 10 years. Your lifespan, your, like, lifeline is really long. You'll be fine. And he's hopeful she will succeed. And he says this is the most hopeful he's ever been. Which I don't really understand because he has no memories. How does he know this is the hopefulest he's ever been?
I guess within Phantasma.
I guess. So she sort of having a crisis moment. She doesn't really understand what's happening with her because she has powers that are manifesting that she didn't realize. Like, this whole thing with her turning invisible is sort of scary for her.
Yeah.
So he goes and gets a dagger and they're about to seal the deal, but she tells him, like, the whole part of his escape with the heart. Like, he needs a heart and a key. And they're taking that literally. He needs a physical heart.
Yes.
And she's like, I'm not going to kill anyone to get it.
Which I love. Because it's like, obviously you're going to fall in love with him and that's the heart.
Yeah, come on.
It's a romance book, too.
They don't realize that. They're in a book.
True, I guess.
So he agrees, and he's like, let's focus on the key part first anyway. They literally think it's, like, going to be a physical manifestation of a key. So she agrees to the deal, so he gets the dagger and cuts her palm, and then his palm, and they combine them, and he says some words, and she feels like a heat, which recedes, then it's over. And then he tells her if she needs to summon him, just say his name 3 times. So he heals her arm and tells her it's time to begin. Ophelia, like, changes and tells him about the places in the manor she's already been. And he didn't know about the weird passageway in her room. So he's like, let's go through there. And she's like...
I'm like, where's the creature?
Yeah, yes.
What about the creature?
Yes.
He's a ghost. Like, he's a phantom. Still a ghost. What is he gonna do about this creepy-ass ghoul thing?
I guess we've already seen that he can snap them away, so I guess it's not a concern.
Oh, yeah, he can put them in the in-between.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. So...
Good brain you have.
Yeah. So she's like... I guess he wants to more explore the room at the end of the passageway, more so than the passageway. So she's like, well, why can't you just transport us there? Because he can snap himself in and out. And he's like, I can only snap where I've been. So they need to get there the old-fashioned way. So she asks about, like, the hauntings. And he's like, there's no real plan. Like, it's just the manor having a bit of a mind of its own. And... like, the devil's just, like, on a whim, maybe deciding, like, oh, I think I want to hunt that person right now, or whatever.
Yeah, kind of what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Of willy-nilliness.
Yeah. And he does say that sometimes, if the manor is boring them, the devils will coordinate something, but it's not, I guess it's not often. Ophelia asks that who's in charge. But he says only the devils know, and those that complete level 8 and win a bid for level 9. So no one else knows who's in charge. And she's like, what do you mean by win a bid for level 9? And Blackwell explains that if more than one person make it past level 8, they have to eliminate each other until one person is left to enter the last level. So only one person is even allowed to go to level 9. So I guess the goal is you want everyone else to die before the end of level 8.
Or give up.
Yeah.
It is interesting, though, because it, like, if only one person goes to level 9, is it possible that there is no winner?
I would guess.
Yeah. Interesting.
But, like, I guess my issue, too, is that, like, from what I've seen, I have, like, you know, we know I've read ahead at this point.
Yeah.
People make deals, and then it's, like, seems like I've seen somebody make a deal, and then they're gone. And I just didn't expect that. I figured if you were making a deal, you'd make a deal to stay, but it's almost like, because they say when you go into a level, you're not allowed to forfeit, so your only way out,
you can make a
win, die, or make a deal. And I'm like, you would think that...
I thought it was make a deal to pass the level.
Yeah.
But, interesting. I guess, yeah, it would make sense if you're like, I can't finish this level, I'm gonna make a deal to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I guess. And maybe if you...
But I didn't...
If you don't win...
That didn't cross my mind.
Yeah, so I just... Yeah. I just really anticipated people making deals in order... I figured more people would make deals the way she's made this deal. You know what I mean? To, like, get help. Because it seems like nobody else is, like, making, you know, is sort of doing that. And I feel like that would have been the smart thing to do.
Yeah. Well, I also am like, nobody else has made a friend with a guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So are there other guys that are willing to just, like, hand out deals? Like, I know there is, because something else happens this week, but...
Yeah.
Maybe she's the only one talking to them?
Maybe.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, so they head down the passageway, and she asks it, like, do you do any of the hauntings? And he's like, no. And then she asks, like, how did you get trapped here? And he says, I don't remember, because he has no memories of anything before he came here. And I say every year, but I guess it's every game. Like, every...
Yeah,
but, like...
I think it is every year, though.
But I don't think it is.
No?
No. And I guess we'll have to talk about it later. Something happens down the road that it makes me think that.
Okay.
But, like, it makes it seem like Phantasma's in a city and does its thing for 10 days, then picks up and moves to another city and does its thing for 10 days. Like, it's constantly moving.
Mm-hmm.
But, anyway, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a inconsistency?
Yeah.
Anyway, so, I guess every year he makes a bargain with a contestant and watches them fail and waits for Phantasma to move to another city and starts the cycle all over again. The other ghosts here either died during one of the levels or made poor bargains with devils, but they all remember their past, so it's a bit different for him. So she asks what happens to all his former contestants. And he's like, don't worry, they mostly didn't die. But he said most of them either forfeited or won. But since they didn't complete their side of the bargain, he got 10 years of their life. So they have a moment, like they're in a dark, tight passageway. They have a moment where he like holds her chin and rubs her bottom lip with his thumb, and it's hot. But then they reach the end of the passageway, and he opens the door, and it's a broom closet. And he's like, I thought you said this was going to be a room. And he's like annoyed. And she's like, let me do it.
Yeah.
So she pictures the door, or pictures the room that she was in before, and she opens the door, and there it is, this new room. And so they go in to see what's there. I need to check on that year thing. I'm not gonna be okay until I look.
Yeah, it is kind of confusing because he he does say every year. And I feel like when they were talking about Genevieve having, like, the newspaper clippings, it seemed like it happened often.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, so it was my bad. It didn't say every year.
Oh, okay.
It says, I have no memories of how I got here or why I can do as I please, but the other ghosts can't. The only routine I know is making my bargain with contestants, watching them fail, then waiting for Phantasma to move to another city so I can find someone new when the next competition begins. Over and over.
Interesting.
So, yeah, that was my own note-taking fail.
No, all good. So they start searching places. They search a playing room, a drinking parlor, where he has a drink and flirts with her, which is always fun. And then they go to a library, and Ophelia searches and gets frustrated because he's not doing anything. He's reading a book. So she throws her book at his face, and he just, like, ghosts his body, and it just goes right through.
I love it.
And he says if she wants to play rough, he has better games with less clothing. And I'm like, ooh. She says he's impossible to work with, but he tells her, like, he's already looked in all of these places, and he's had other people look, so he doesn't think they're gonna find anything.
Yeah, she's just looking surface level, and he's like, I need you to use what you do. Like, use not surface level.
Yeah, that's, like, exactly what he says. He says he chose her because she can find things that other people can't, and she needs to dig deeper. And he tells her, like, they're on the same side. He wants her to be successful more than she wants to be successful. Like, he wants to get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, she thinks, like, she found those different rooms and, like, the whispering gate because she needed something specific when she opened the doors. And that's, like, so she feels like she needs to learn more about him, to have a connection to him, to be able to find what he's looking for. So we've kind of said this a million times, but he says he can't remember his life before Phantasma. Like, he doesn't know anything at all. And he says that, and he doesn't remember anything outside of Phantasma. And he says he feels robbed of not remembering the first time he saw her. I'm just like, he's so charming.
I love it.
So sweet. So she asks if he died in Phantasma, but that wouldn't explain him becoming a phantom, not an apparition like the other ones who died. And he uses his bargain to make sure that he doesn't become a ghoul. So that's why he's taking the years. The only way she knows of phantoms being made, I guess, is if an immortal dies. And she thinks there's definitely other ways, but that's all she can think of. So he says that maybe he's a vampire because he likes to bite.
Woo!
Which is just, I love it. But it is interesting that that's, like, how phantoms are made. Even if I don't think it's relevant in this point, but when an immortal dies, they don't become an apparition, they become a phantom. So she then asks him, like, really basic questions. She asks what his favorite color is, and he says it's red, and plays with the ribbon in her hair, and she says that they have that in common. And she asks his favorite book, and he basically just describes Frankenstein. And she's about to say that she knows that book, but a guy, I'll call him, the guy that led her into Phantasma shows up. So the one that was, like, at the gate. And we get that his name is Jasper. And he takes off his hat, and he has a third eye, which she calls a devil's mark. And I guess, like, the devil of the first task, his mark would have been his horns.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't really get anything about Blackwell having a mark yet.
No. So that's another reason, I guess, why she assumes he is what they both assume he is.
Yeah. Interesting. So Jasper says he wouldn't have picked her as Blackwell's first choice, and then asks if he chose her because she's the prettiest.
No.
And it is kind of cute. Blackwell just tells him to get lost, and Jasper tells them to rip each other's clothes off elsewhere. And Ophelia gets like super flustered, and he's like, "What? Don't tell me he hasn't even kissed you yet." And he says that some contestants almost break the cardinal rule for Blackwell, which is not to lose your heart, which is interesting. And he tells her to mind her heart, or the trials won't be the worst thing to happen to her, which is like super interesting. And it's like, what does it mean if she does fall in love? Because we're assuming that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So she is going to lose her heart. So it's like, what does that mean? And then Jasper's third eye opens, and it's like a different color than his regular eyes. It's bright gold, and looks at her, and Blackwell just like pulls her out and they leave. In her room, she asks Blackwell if kissing is part of his deals, and she asks if she's not his type.
Which is like, very, like, forward of her.
Forward. Yeah. I'm like, whoa, good for you. And he just laughs and says he doesn't have a type. And I'm like, that's not really answering her question. Just tell her she's beautiful.
Yeah, please. Just tell her she's
just
pretty.
Opened up. Yeah. And then he says there's only one contestant he can recall kissing. And he says they were bad at conversation and at searching, so they needed to pass the time, so that's how they did it. Which is just funny. And this is the moment I was like, oh god, I hope that this wasn't her mom.
Oh.
I don't know why, but I was like, oh my god. Anyway, it's probably not. I don't think they'd do that, but you know. So Ophelia says that she's going to need to think of good conversations so that they don't have to resort to kissing. And he asks if the thought of kissing him is so bad. And she says yes. And he's just like, every time you lie, your left eye twitches. Hilarious.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it. The dinner bell rings, and that means the next trial is going to be soon. And he tells her to call him when she's inside of the circle, I guess. And she asks what this circle of hell is based on, and he just whispers lust. And we're like, ooh.
Love it.
What's gonna happen?
Oh my god, so cringy.
Yeah. I don't know why, but when I first read it, I thought that he wasn't going to be able to help inside of the circles, but he can only help if she calls him.
Yes.
I misunderstood that, like, when I first read it a few months ago, because I thought he was like, I can help with the haunts, but I can't do anything inside. But he can. Thankfully.
Yeah, he said he can help, but I guess he can't do it for her. Like, she still needs to, like, move herself through the level, I guess. Maybe?
Yeah. So yeah, she goes to supper, and it's super awkward, and she actually forgot about Cade and everything that happened after the last one. But everyone's, like, staring at her, and people are gossiping about her, and it's just like, ugh. Cade calls her a demon, and she just thinks, like, she doesn't care what they think. And she just says she's glad they made it through the night. She thought Beau might have drowned on his vomit because he threw up after the food turned into spiders, which completely fair. I would have too. So they come towards her, and she says they should be carrying pitchforks because, like, obviously they're, like, this is a witch hunt.
Yeah.
And Cade slaps her in the face just out of nowhere, and it splits her lip. And she just, like, smiles into it and, like, makes it even bloodier. And it's like, I feel like that'd be kind of creepy. But Charlotte and James say that they need to stop. Like, she's mortal. She's bleeding red. So I guess that's a thing. So she just says they should have just believed her. Now they made her an enemy, which I love.
Yeah, like, again, she is...
So
She is, like, ready to go.
Yeah, I love it. She doesn't eat, which is another thing. I'm like, she doesn't eat, she doesn't sleep. But she doesn't eat right now. She just catalogs, like, who's left. And we get that, like, 6 people since the first task have either forfeit or died in their group. So the lights go out, and a devil with red hair and ivory skin and a sheer dress and voluptuous body arrives, which is like quintessential lust. And she looks around and she's like, people are drooling, and she just wipes her mouth to make sure that she isn't, which I love that. But the devil's name is Dreama, and her specialty is lust. And a man makes a lewd comment, which is just so dumb. Like, I don't know. Why would you do that to a devil? But she just says that she'd find him more pleasing without his mouth, and then just disappears his entire mouth.
Eee,
and I'm like,
I love it.
Yeah, like, you're a fucking idiot. But she says, let this be a lesson not to give into your lust so easily. And she summons the doorway, and the clue comes up, and the clue is, it's like, the clues are fucking long.
Yeah.
In a realm of desire, illusions enthrall, contestants beware lest you succumb to their call. Amongst the lustful vices, you must pick only one. When the first bell tolls, the trial has begun. Before the fourth chime, the truth you must find, and the key to your freedom beneath a bed lies. So there's a lot there. So Dreama starts calling out names, and Ophelia is trying to memorize the clue, and she's like, okay, well, this one there's a time limit, because you got to get it done before the fourth chime. A girl named Edna is called, and she just talks to the guy with no mouth, and she's like, we need to win this for Michael. And then she just goes in. She's like, rally yourself.
Rally. Yeah.
So Ophelia gets called, and she goes in, and there's just like, it's an opulent scene. There's like beds everywhere, and there's jewels, and there's couples and trios writhing on top of the beds. And she kind of like is a bit jealous of the reckless abandon, and she wants to like feel that herself. And it's like, you're already fucked.
Yep.
So someone offers her a drink, and there's red, green, blue, pink, or gold. And they urge her to pick, and she asks what it'll do, and they say it depends, but she only has 1 minute to decide. And she's like, so does it mean disqualified if I don't take one? Like, what does that mean? But they won't answer, so she just takes the red one. And at first I was kind of like, did Blackwell say his favorite color was red because he knew this was coming up and it was like gonna be a hint? But I don't think so.
No.
Because I don't think we really get what the other ones are. Or at least they don't really talk about it. But I really thought it was going to be like, red is an easy one, and he said his favorite color was red, so that... But anyway.
Yeah, I don't...
The demon...
I feel like red is like the worst color to decide to use.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. The waiter says that it's their personal favorite, and then other waiters come out and serve the red drink to everyone. And then she just downs it, and I'm like, I would have watched what happened to everyone else.
Yes! Oh my god, that would have been such a good idea.
But I think you need to drink it before the one bell, so I 100% would have just been disqualified. And like, what happens when you're disqualified? Do you just get killed, or do you...
Oh, I don't know.
What happens then? But yeah, so she downs it, the one bell tolls, and she just forgets everything and feels ecstasy. And like, she thinks like her clothes feel so good, and she starts to get turned on, and she starts scratching herself because she wants to bleed. And you're like, that's a turn from being turned on to wanting to bleed.
Yep.
Okay. Someone asks her to come over to play while they watch the show. And like, silks come down from the ceiling. And this is one of those like situations in a book that I think would be so cool to see in like a movie or a show. Because it'd be like, just, I don't know. I love silks. They're super cool. So Ophelia sits and watches, and the woman moves her hair to the side, and she barely, like, she's really into watching the show, and this woman making her feel good. Not sexually yet. And she, like, barely notices that there are people screaming and being stabbed, and people are drinking blood. The woman tells her to hold still, and it'll only hurt for a bit. But then a stranger comes over and says, this one's mine. And he looks familiar. And him and the woman on the bed kind of fight over her. But he asks if she wants to come, and she wants to go with him. So he helps her up and brings her over to a bed and tells her to stay. And she starts to panic because she's alone. And the shadow voice calls her a foolish girl. But he comes back with an antidote. And she's like, what do you mean an antidote? But he tells her each of the drinks is a poison that'll, like, give you a type of lust based on which one you take. And it'll kill you slowly without an antidote. So she takes the antidote, and she realizes that it's Blackwell. And we're like, oh, I didn't think that he could
come without
help her until she called for him. Wasn't that the whole point? And also, the entire time I was reading it, before she even picked her drink, I was like, why don't you call Blackwell now and ask which one you should drink? Like, she should have called him immediately when she went in.
Yeah, but that's the thing, like, that's the thing.
Okay. So Blackwell tells her that the poison that she took was bloodlust. And he tells her that she needs to perform a task to end this. And that is, she needs to drink someone's blood and let them drink hers. And he offers to find someone, but she's like, ew, no, I don't want a stranger. And he's like, well, lucky, I like to bite. Which is obviously a common thing that he's been saying.
Yes.
And she's like, okay, well, you can go first. And he pulls her into his lap. And she, like, wiggles. And he groans and says that, like, she needs to stop unless she wants this to go a different way. And he calls her sweetheart. Which I was like, interesting. Then she hears 3 bells. And she thinks there's something she should remember. And she thinks the truth you must find and the key to your freedom beneath a bed lies. And she's kind of like realizing something's up.
What does that mean?
Yeah. And then she asks Blackwell, like, how he knew to come. And he says that she was taking too long, so he came to check if she was okay. And he moves his face, like, closer to her face, and she wants to kiss him desperately. So he asks if he can kiss her, and she nods. And his lips are cold and hard, and he calls her sweetheart again, and her locket is completely silent, and she's just like, this is wrong. This isn't Blackwell. Which I love. Yeah.
I like how she knows, like, immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she hasn't even kissed him before.
I know. She's like, this isn't how he'd kiss me. So she calls him out, and he turns into someone else. And that person, they ask what gave it away. And they ask to go into her head to get the details of her desires right. And she just, like, palms them in the nose, but they don't bleed because they're a vampire, I assume. I don't know if it comes out and says it, but that's my belief. But they just turn into smoke. And then Blackwell shows up, and she tackles him and chokes him and says she doesn't care if he's dead already. She's going to kill him. And he asks if she's flirting, which is my absolute favorite thing. Yeah. She's, like, choking him out, and he's like, are you flirting with me? And he calls her Angel. And she's just like, my hands are around your throat. And he just says it doesn't make it any clearer. And I absolutely adore it. It is my favorite. But he, like, ghosts his body, and she just falls back to the floor. And she gets up, and he grabs her, and her locket wakes up, and she feels the static of his presence. Because she said before that, like, he has a specific
energy
feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she remembers he called her Angel, and she says Blackwell. And he was like, yeah, you summoned me. And she's confused, and she realizes this is the embarrassing part. Talking to the fake Blackwell, she said his name 3 times. And he realizes that she saw him. And he tells her. I think it's kind of cute. But then this is where it's like, ugh. He says that the trials show an illusion of the person she lusts after to entice her to lose. I don't think it's too bad.
But it is, because now he knows that she lusts after him real bad.
Yeah, but I'm also like, who else would she lust after? Like the crusty guys that she doesn't leave her house. So who is she really seeing? I don't feel so bad about it because I'm like, it doesn't mean he's all that. It just means there's nobody else that she's seen.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
Yeah. And like it needs to happen so that we can further their relationship and make them closer to kissing. So yeah, the whole point of the illusion is to get her to lose by either drinking blood or keep her distracted until the time is up. And he's like, you didn't drink any blood, right? And she's like, no, I didn't. And then she asks him about the antidote, but he says, like, he's never seen that happen before. Like, anytime that he's been through here, nobody's been given an antidote. But it did help her. She completely came back to herself. But she realizes it was to get her to trust him. And then she kind of, like, says she's disappointed that, like, this whole lust scene wasn't sexier than it was. And that just intrigues him. He's like, I want to know all of your fantasies.
Yeah. What do you want to know?
Yeah. And then we kind of, like, it's so weird. She thinks that he's super sensual, and then she thinks about the one person, even though I thought that she said earlier in the book that she'd slept with other people, but she thinks of the one person she slept with. It was her neighbor's grandson who knocked on the door looking for Genevieve, she thinks, but found her instead, and she says it was really more of a transactional situation, them having sex.
Good.
But it's just interesting, because I was just like, there was a moment before that I thought that she had said that she had suitors and just had sex with them. Maybe she was talking about Genevieve,
I think
though.
she was.
Yeah, my bad. I misunderstood it.
Genevieve is our sex-positive queen.
Yes. And I do appreciate that she's not a virgin.
But only just.
Yes. But it wasn't good. It was just to get it done. That's unfortunate. Which is a lot like our last book. So he kind of teases her because she imagined him, or was like, she's lusting after him. But then they're like, oh shit, we need to get going. And he tells her there's a trap door, and it's under a random bed each time, so they need to check the beds. And I assumed it was under the bed. I didn't think it was going to be under the mattress, and I thought they'd be crawling underneath the bed. I didn't think they were going to be moving mattresses out of the way. I would never have gotten out of here.
Nope.
I wouldn't shoo people off of a bed. I'd be like, sorry,
especially depending on where they're at in their, process. Yeah.
I'm like, I'll just wait until you come, and then I'll move the bed.
Can you imagine interrupting a girl as she's, like, about to... How bad would you feel?
Yeah, would not. I'd die. So, they check 4, and they have to, like, push people out of the way, like I was saying. And then they get to They get to a bed with just one man on it by himself. And I'm like, I hope he's not naked, just because. But he's not. It doesn't mention it, so. But he calls her stunning and asks for a taste. And he, like, grabs her. And the shadow voice tells her to bash his nose in. And, like, says a whole bunch of violent shit. And she's just, like, kind of shocked by it. Because the shadow voice isn't normally this violent. Yeah. While she kind of freezes, and the man pulls her in and then starts to change into Blackwell while he's right next to her, too. That's the part that's like, eek. But in Blackwell's voice, asks to kiss her. And she knows it's an illusion, but she just, like, can't get over the words coming from Blackwell's mouth with his voice. And I'm just like,
she's like, oh, I want him to want to kiss me, like.
Yeah. Like, girl, you got it bad.
Yeah. After, what, it's been, like, 48 hours? Been 2 days.
Because it's only...
We're on night 3.
I guess it's the 3rd. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. She's got it bad. So, Blackwell just says he's never sounded so ridiculous. She's like, yes, you have.
Yeah, their interactions are really funny.
I love them so much. So she knees the not Blackwell guy in the junk, and Blackwell just says, "Nicely done." But he says, for future reference, if they're fighting again, he likes choking. Which, you're like, obviously. He asked if she was flirting when she was choking him earlier. And then, of course, this is the right bed. So obviously that was going to be, like, the last test. Because, you know, her getting stuck on that bed would just be, like...
So close, yet so far.
Yeah, it would be a really funny thing, I think, for the Devils. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so they push it out of the way, and he, like, holds on to her and says that he's got her, and her locket warms up, and they jump together as the fourth bell tolls. So they made it!
Yay!
They land in the dining room, and he just, like, immediately takes her to her room. Like, there's no worrying about haunts, which is good. Like, I was like, oh shit, is there gonna be the same haunt again? Like, what's gonna happen? And he says that the debate on her wanting to kiss him is settled now. And she is not okay.
Yeah.
But he's kind of teasing, and she's just like...
She's not here for it at the moment.
No. She's like... And she doesn't even care that he knows that she wanted to kiss him, because she's like, you can't understand, as someone who doesn't know, like, if the things inside of their head that they live with every day is real, like, how do I know that this is real now? And she just is like, do you know how that feels? And he just says no. And he tells her that she's out, but she asks how she knows if this is real. And she says it was too easy. And I'm like, girl, it was not easy. You almost didn't get out. But he tells her, like, that's the point of this place. It's to make her paranoid and feel like she's losing her mind. And
can I add in, though? I guess, I don't know, maybe it's different. The whole, like, I don't know, maybe your idea of danger is different, but I did not think this one was as difficult, maybe, as the first one. Like, they say, oh, it only gets harder, but I don't see that.
Well, she finished the first one. She wouldn't have finished this one without Blackwell.
That's true.
But I think it's just, like, this one's not dangerous. I just wonder what happens if you don't make the time limit. Like, do you just stay there and bleed out? Would they kill you? Like, I just don't really know. You'd have to make a deal, I guess.
I guess.
But it just, like, the stakes don't seem as crazy for this one.
Yes.
Because it's like, I guess I'd like to know what happens to people who didn't finish it.
They're stuck there for all eternity.
And, like, well, obviously there's 5 different ways it could have gone. I could see in the Bloodlust one that if she drank from somebody and let them drink from her, maybe they just drink her dry and she dies.
Oh, maybe.
But I didn't get that.
Mm-mm.
That's only, we don't really get that, so I don't really know. But anyway, she asks how she's supposed to trust him, because, like, the illusion of him was there, and that illusion helped her. So how does she know that he is him?
Yeah.
And she says that he kissed her, but it wasn't him. And I would never admit that. I would never admit that to him ever. But she does. But he holds her face and says, like, this is real, and he is real, and he's sorry the illusion used his likeness. And if she ever let him touch her in any way, the moment she wants to stop, he will, with no hesitation. Which is, good guy to you.
Yeah. Green flag.
Knows, yeah, 100%. She knows that, like, that's the truth. He's telling the truth. And he just says he can't believe she thought the illusion was him. and that she should let him prove what it feels like to be kissed by him in case this happens again. And I'm like, yes, do it, do it.
Yeah. We want it.
But they don't.
Oh.
And she says that she believes that this is the real him because no illusion could replicate... No, the illusion could replicate his face, but wouldn't be able to replicate his ego.
Valid point.
Which I just love. Yeah. She asks then, what if she said it was the greatest pleasure she'd ever known? The, like, making out with him and her, the illusion him. And he says if she thought that, imagine being worshipped by the real thing. And she just has nothing to say to that.
I love it.
Me too. And then he rubs his finger over her split lip and, like, then puts his finger in his mouth and tastes her blood. And she's just super turned on by that. I'm like,
why not?
Fair enough. And he says that she gave the imposter a good fight, and he magically heals her lip. And she's like, oh, that wasn't the imposter. And he's just like, who did this to you?
I love it! Touch her and die!
100%. He's like, what do you mean? And she's just like, it doesn't matter. She's like, we need to start searching. Like, that's what we're doing. But he says that keeping her safe is part of their bargain. So, who was it? So she finally just says it was Cade, and he disappears.
I love it so much.
I
love it so much!
So, she's in her room for a bit, but then, like, the shadow voice is, like, talking at her, and she can't stop thinking about not Blackwell kissing her. And she's just like, I gotta get out of here. So she goes to the library again. And Lucy is there. And the shadow voice tells her to bash Lucy's face in because she was a coward and didn't do anything when Cade was calling her a demon. And Ophelia just kind of, like, shakes her head to get, like, that thought out of it. And Lucy asks if she's okay. And Ophelia asks what she's reading, and she's just reading, like, an angels and demons romance.
Love it.
I'm like, interesting.
Do you know what I love? I love that writers are starting to incorporate, like, this idea of women reading smutty romance books into smutty romance books.
I love it. I love it so much.
It feels so meta.
Like, I want... Yeah, I want to read these romance books inside the romance books, please. Like, Silver Flames. Like, I want to read all of those books. Ophelia's about to walk away, but Lucy apologizes for what Cade did. And Ophelia is just like, it's not for you to apologize. Like, you didn't do it, even though she was a coward. But Lucy says that she just sat there, and he had them all convinced. And Ophelia's like, it doesn't matter. Like, none of them owe each other anything. And they'll all do what they need to do to survive. And Lucy can remind Cade of that. So kind of like in a threatening way towards Cade, which I'm here for.
Yeah.
Lucy says that she, out of all people, should have known better. And I was like, what?
Why you of all people?
But, yeah. And I think we kind of get it a bit later, but I do wonder if there's something else to it. But she says that Leon said that she did something in the first level to make the hellhound ... And Ophelia's just like, for fuck's sake. Like, there's so much gossip in here. What the hell? Which, like, I completely agree with. But she realizes, like, Leon's the guy that she dragged through and saved.
Yeah, and now...
he's even saying shit about her.
Yeah, now he's gossiping and being a douche.
Yeah. And she's just like, he's scrawny and needs to work on his stamina. Like, she saved his life. And Lucy's just like, he's not scrawny. And Ophelia's like, oh, for fuck's sake, you like him. Which I love. And Ophelia tells her, like, this place twists sweet things until they break. And Ophelia thinks that, like, Lucy is too soft-hearted to be in here. Which is fair. Lucy says that, like, it's lonely in here, so she made a pact with Leon to watch each other's backs so that they can get some sleep. And I'm like, that's not a terrible plan, but I also think that she's probably fucking him.
Maybe.
And she caught feelings.
Didn't it say already that there was a couple that I feel like it said that, like, or maybe it's one of the demons that says it. I'm starting to get all mixed up. I feel like it's a passing comment that, like, some people are, maybe one of the,
are fucking.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember, so I don't know. Maybe it's upcoming, or maybe I just
it's like it's a very much a passing comment. So like I don't feel bad, and like it's not really a spoiler because it's literally just like a passing comment that.
And I do think that Leon and Lucy
could be,
so.
Yeah.
Well, and then also, like, obviously the demons and devils are gossiping too, because Jasper earlier was like, he sleeps with every one of his contestants, and he's like, I've only kissed one because she was boring. Or they were boring. I don't know if he actually said a gender. Leon shows up then and says that there was a haunt in the dining room, and Ophelia is like, yeah, the spiders and snakes. I've already done that one.
So, yeah, so you see what I mean? Like, it's not...
Yeah.
It's like
it's not the...
It's picked...
At the same time for everyone. Yeah. He does say that Mason forfeited, and Mason is the guy with no mouth.
Robbie. Do you think he still has no mouth, or do you think they gave him his mouth back?
No. I hope... Should have just taken his tongue. Like, no mouth is real hard.
Well, you'll die, because you won't be able to eat or drink anything.
Well, like, you can get tubes, but I don't know, like, feeding tubes, but I don't know if that's a thing in this
but
world.
you can't do feeding tubes. You don't have an opening. Oh, up your nose.
In the nose.
Right?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if that's a thing in the early 19... Like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't sound... But if he forfeit, I guess he could have forfeit before Ophelia went in.
But also, how does he forfeit with no mouth? You have to say the words.
He just decides not to walk in.
I guess.
I don't know. Or does he make a deal with a devil? Like, did he go in, fail, make a deal with the devil, and in the deal, he could have asked for his mouth back?
Yeah, but would he have been that smart?
Well, if you're not that smart, then you deserve to die. And the deal would have been with Dreama too, so like he would have been fucked, because I bet her giving him a deal, she'd be not too favorable.
Yeah,
he was a dick. But anyway, so we don't really know. We just know he forfeit. But they say, or Leon and Lucy are talking about how like now it's all on Edna to bring back their brother. So we get like he was in an airboat accident and died. So that's what they're hoping to do. And I was like, oh shit, is Ophelia gonna bring her mother back?
Oh, yeah.
And like, this is opening up a new realm of like what's possible with this witch.
But I don't think she would, like... I feel like she has too much respect for the dead. Like, being a necromancer.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. And like, she'd almost have to be like, put me back in time. Because, like, she still has her mother's magic. Yeah. I doubt her mother wants to, like, come back from the dead and not have her magic. Like,
yeah.
So, yeah. Interesting thoughts. But it did really open it up for me. I was like, oh, shit, I didn't realize you could do that. But Ophelia's just like, do you all just know each other? Like, how do you know so much about everybody else? And basically, they do. And they all know that she's Genevieve's sister. And Lucy says it's why she wanted to introduce herself to Ophelia originally. And Lucy says that Genevieve was being courted by a friend of hers, and they became friends. And they used to ask her to bring Ophelia along when they were hanging out, but she said that, but Genevieve would say that she didn't leave home. So that's why Lucy was kind of surprised to see her here. Aww. And it's kind of like, is Genevieve a bitch? Like, because it seems like she never asked Ophelia if she wanted to go.
No.
She's just like leaving her out. And it's just like, huh. Ophelia asked Lucy if she knew that Genevieve would come here. And Lucy's just like, no way. And she kind of says that there was like 5 of them who were really good friends. So it was Lucy, Genevieve, Iris, and Pharaoh Henry, and Basil someone. I was like, I don't know if any of these people are important. But we did hear about Pharaoh.
Yes.
And he's the one that asked her out, stood her up. And also we heard someone talking about he was going to come to the haunt. Not the haunt, the Phantasma. Yeah. So I assume he's going to come up again. And Ophelia only recognizes Pharaoh's name, and she wonders why she didn't know about Genevieve's friends. And the shadow voice says that Genevieve hates her, and that she's gonna die here. So
yikes,
that's good. And then I guess they're kind of just like, Leon's like, oh, I'm gonna go back to my room. You guys can keep talking. And Ophelia's like, nah, we're done. So Lucy leaves too. So she goes back to looking, and she starts to look deeper, and she empties the top shelf of books, and she's looking for secret passageways, because, like, in her home, there's a bunch of them, so she assumes that there's probably some here, too. Eventually she does find a button, but then Jasper just shows up, and he asks if she's redecorating and needs help, and she's just like, she tells him to leave her alone, and she's like, oh, are you gonna call Blackwell? And she's just like, oh, are you guys friends? And he says, devils don't have friends. But he does say, like, living here, you find the people who annoy you the least, which is funny. And she's just like, well, the other ghosts must be very annoying then if you, like, don't hate Blackwell. And he says he can see why Blackwell likes her. And she's just like, he doesn't like me. We're just using each other. And he asks if she's thought of other...
Sure.
Yeah, I know. He asks if she's thought of other arrangements, and he says, like, 10 years is a long time, and he offers her a deal with less time, and she says that she doesn't make deals with devils, and he goes to say something, and I'm sure he's like, oh, you already did.
Yeah, right?
Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's 100% what he's about to say. But Zell and Dreama just, like, appear out of nowhere, completely naked and all over each other, in a chair in the library, just, like, going at it.
I love it.
I know. And Jasper's just like, enjoy the show, think about what I said, bye.
Peace out.
Peace out. So Ophelia's just like, what the fuck? But she's, like, watching them, and she's like, it's super hot, but then Dreama gets, like, her claws out and, like, cuts his neck, and then there's blood play, and she's like, whoa, this is
like,
intense.
I'm out.
Yeah, and she's like, I need to get out of here. And the shadow voice is like, press the button. Like, figure out what this is. Don't just leave. So, and she's like, yeah, they're not gonna notice anything. They're super busy. So she presses the button, and the shelf just, you know, classic 180s. Classic.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, me too. And she thinks, like, she's inside Phantasma's guts. Which is such a weird thing to call it, but okay. But it's super dark, which she doesn't love. So she climbs down the ladder, and she thinks of the last time she was in a passageway and the thing coming after her. And the shadow voice tells her she's going to need to run. So she says Blackwell's name 3 times, and the shadow voice says it's going to get her if she doesn't find a light. And she walks back to the ladder, and she's hoping that'll, like, if she climbs up again and presses the button, it'll just 180 again. But Blackwell shows up. And the shadow voice immediately disappears when he shows up. And
convenient!
Yes. His outline lights up the room, which is good, because she can see now. So she just hugs him, and he's like, what's going on? And she's like, basically between devils appearing and going at it like rabbits and getting stuck in here, she started to panic. And he's just like, where is here? And she says that she found it in the library. It's a secret passage, and she assumes it's like a tunnel that goes through the manor. So he makes 2 candelabras appear, and she sees that he's covered in blood. And she's just like, is that Cade's blood? And he says, like, what he did wasn't permanent. And she's like, well, it's not like he didn't deserve it. And he's like, cool, we're on the same page. And it's like, I guess.
I'm glad that she's not like, you shouldn't have done that, meh, meh, meh. Like,
yeah.
I like that.
She's like, cool. So they search, and it's just a room. Like there's no, it's not a tunnel like she thought, but Blackwell finds 3 tally marks. So she looks at them, and she presses a brick, and she hears rocks scrape, but nothing happens. And her locket starts to buzz, and she tells him that they need to look for more. So they look around, and they find all, like, numbers 2 to 5 in tally marks on the walls and stuff. So they need to find 1. Ophelia's about to give up because she's tired as hell. And she, like, ends up stepping on number 1.
Yes, very convenient.
And it, like, sinks down. So she pushes it down even further, and then they press the other ones in order, and everything starts to shake, and he, like, holds her, because they don't know what's going to happen. It's just cute. And then holes appear in the ceiling, and a passageway opens, but it's, like, only 3 feet high, so they're going to have to crawl, like, you can't walk into it. And she jokes that they should rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first. And he, like, takes off her coat, and she's just there, like, staring at him and almost drooling, which, love it.
Woo!
But then, like, a drop falls on his arm and starts to blister, and he's just like, go, now! He shoves her down towards the passageway. Sounded different for a second there. And it just starts to pour acid from the ceiling, and it burns through, like, parts of her dress, but it doesn't get to her skin, so, like, she's fine. Blackwell transports himself in front of her and starts to pull her forward, and he, like, kicks the door to that room closed. Because presumably it's just gonna fill up with acid, I guess. So they end up in, like, a new room. And he tells her to hold on, and he gets 2 candles and tells her they need to get the dress off of her. And right as he's saying it, I know, we're all ready. But right as he's saying it, she notices, like, some of the acid seeps through and starts to burn her back. And he just, like, expertly undoes her corset and takes it off, and then takes off the dress, and she's just, like, there.
Of course, yeah.
And I was like, is she naked? Does she have anything on? Like, it's a while before they actually get to telling us she has clothes, underclothes.
Well,
on.
but I mean, I guess, of course, she would have, like, a chemise or something.
Yeah.
You don't... As I've learned from fashion historians, you never wear a corset against a bare skin.
No, but she did talk about it starting to burn her, so I assumed it would have gone through her chemise as well.
The chemise. Right.
But...
So maybe she's... But, like, I guess, like, bras and panties weren't a thing. Panties, maybe, but, like...
Yeah, she is wearing underwear of some kind. We get in a little bit. Yeah. But I was just like... They kind of just talk about some other shit first, and I was like, is she just naked? What is happening?
I guess she doesn't even, like... process that she has no clothes on. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's very much, yeah, sure, let's just keep going.
Yeah. So she notices then that she has a 2nd star for level 2, which is fun. And he kind of, she can tell that there's something wrong, and he kind of feels bad. He says he should have been able to transport her away, but he used too much energy on revenge. And she's like, oh, with Cade? And he's like, yeah. She's like, well, it's fine. But he says every time she's injured, their bond unravels a little bit. And it makes it harder for him to hear her when she calls to him. And she's like, what the fuck? You should have told me that.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, good point. Because, like, she got slapped in the face. Like, these little injuries that she's getting are fucking with their bond, because he promised that his part of his deal was she wouldn't get injured, so he's fucking up his side. Even though I think that's a wild thing to promise. You can't,
especially, yeah, I feel like he should have maybe put, like, a caveat on it. You won't get fatally injured, or, like, if you do get injured, I'll heal you, because, like, the wording of their bargain is what's causing the downfall here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it should have been, I'll heal you. Because, like, what happens if she dies? Then does, like, he owes her something because he fucked up the bargain?
Yeah, because he wasn't specific enough about her injury.
Yeah. It's just, you'd think he'd be smarter. But anyway, so that's something we learned this week. So he wants to leave, but she's just like, we almost died to get to this room. We may as well look around.
Mm-hmm.
So she has the candle and looks around, and it's just like a wooden paneled room that has a bookshelf, and she's like, fuck, that bookshelf probably just goes back to the library. Like, what was the point of all of this? Which is fair. Like, what was the point of the acid room if it wasn't hiding something? And if there's another entrance to the library here, like, it just seems odd. So she kind of loses her shit a little bit. She goes on a bit of a rant, and she's like, she's gonna burn this whole place down to see if there's anything here. And Blackwell is like, your rant would be a whole lot more effective if you had some more clothes on. If you weren't almost naked.
But, like, again, theoretically, he can snap.
I know.
And dress her.
I know.
And he's choosing not to.
Yes. That is true.
So...
Probably for a reason. She, at this moment, finally realizes that she's in very little clothes. And she's like, look away! And he's like, it's a bit late for that. And she's like, yeah, you're not the one almost naked. And he's like, I could be.
I love it.
I love it too. So he's kind of flirty, obviously, because that's his go-to. But then he asks what happened with the imposter, and she doesn't really say anything. So he says that he's going to come up with what happened himself. And she's like, fine, then tell me. And he's like, tell you or show you? And she says, show me. Which,
of course she does.
Finally. He immediately kisses her. Like, I love it. Right away. It's so sweet. And his lips are warm, and it's so different than the illusion one. And her hands are just in his hair, and she feels like she's been touch-starved, and she needs him touching her. Which is kind of funny, because later she's like, never again. And it's like, you were like having a moment then of like how touch-starved you were, and now afterwards she's like, we can't do that ever again. Yeah. He like lies her back onto the floor. And
which I find so odd.
Yeah.
Like, let's lie down on this random floor.
Yeah, I think she was already sitting down. But still, you can...
It'd be hotter if they were standing up and leaning against the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, they do move positions. But he lies her back on the floor and, like, holds her head so that it's not just touching the floor, which is nice. And he tells her that they can stop whenever she wants. And she nips at his lip, and he, like, lets out a guttural moan, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then he pinches her nipple, and she pulls at his shirt, wanting to feel his skin on her skin, and he just disappears his shirt. Okay.
So then, theoretically, he could appear clothes for her.
Yeah, exactly. He could reappear. And then he disappears her camisole. And he just transports them so that he's leaning against the wall and she's, like, in his lap. And she's, like, kind of dizzy because transporting makes you feel a bit woozy. And it's like, this is probably... Why did we do this right now? But okay. So he says she just needs to take a minute for her head to clear. And she's like, how can it clear when we're doing this? So he looks at her and he calls her exquisite, and she looks at him and she thinks, like, she feels confident in her body and she's not as worried about it as she would be because she thinks she's not actually going to see him after this week anyway. And that, like, makes her have feelings. Because, like, obviously they're catching feelings here. So, like, she's like, oh shit, what if I never see him again?
Yeah.
And then he tongues her nipple and she feels him hard in his pants, and, like, he grinds into her, and he calls her a good girl and tells her to let go. So she immediately comes.
I find that so funny, and so often in books, the man says, let go, or come for me, and the girl just does it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't realize it was a, like, conscious response.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's magic in this book.
Yeah, but it happens in so many other not-magic books.
I know. And so she just comes, and then he's like, and that's about when you would have lost the trial. If it was actually him and not an illusion. And I'm like, wait, can you not? Can you not do this right now? It's just so mean.
Like, bringing that up here now is probably a terrible idea.
Yeah. And she says she thinks she might hate him. And then she asks if it always feels like that. And he's just like, have you ever... And she's like, she just cuts in and says, like, she's had a lover, but it's never been like that. So
she didn't
presumably, yeah, she's never come. Even by herself?
She definitely has by herself.
Because she almost masturbated in the tub.
Yeah, but I feel like maybe a lot of romance books like to push that, like, you know, it's more intense with when your partner does it.
Yeah, I guess.
That it's not the same. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah, that must be what they're pushing. Because it's just like, she literally almost masturbated in, like, the first night here after talking to him.
Yeah.
So she calls him useless, and he picks her up. And no, sorry, completely wrong. He calls her other lover useless for not getting her off. Which, fair. Yeah. And then he, like, puts her on her feet. And she's like, but did you? And he's like, no, that wasn't about me. It's like, of course he didn't come. Of course. And she's like, oh, there's gonna be no living with you after this, because he's gonna, like, it's gonna be in his head that he got her off. Which is 100% true. And then she says it can't happen again, because their relationship is too complicated. But he's just like, well, you're gonna have to resist begging me for it. And she says that she's never gonna beg, and he says famous last words. And you're like, we're gonna get something.
Yeah. Lots of begging.
Yeah. So she grabs her clothes, and she knocks over the candelabra, and then she sees something written, and there's a word that's been scratched out, like, multiple times. And then it says, and Gabriel forever. So it's presumably a name, I assume.
Yeah.
Blank and Gabriel forever. I'm surprised it's not, like, inside of a heart.
Yeah.
So,
and Gabriel's the one we've been looking for.
Yeah, that Genevieve was looking for. So I'm of, like, two minds. I'm like, was it Genevieve and Gabriel? Or, because I haven't read past this point. Is Blackwell Gabriel Blackwell? Like, it actually, you know what that name reminds me of? It reminds me of Shadowhunters. It's definitely, like, that would be a Shadowhunter name. Gabriel Blackwell.
Yes! Oh my god, it absolutely would be a Shadowhunter name.
It maybe could be. Don't know. Anyway. Yeah, so that's our end. There's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to wrap it up for this week. So if you want to get in touch with us and share your thoughts on anything you heard in our episodes, or if you have any book suggestions, you can reach out to us by email at coffeeandcoread@gmail.com, or on Instagram or Facebook at coffeeandcoread, and coffee.coread on TikTok.
So next week we will be reading chapters 23 to 32 of Phantasma. So make sure to follow along, and if you're enjoying our chats, don't forget to follow, rate, and review wherever you get our content. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you on the next page.